You might be getting rich right now without even realizing it. In this video, I am going to share the signs of building true wealth so you can check them against your own life. A few months ago on this channel, I made a video about how to spot a secret millionaire. That video was all about reading other people. But today, we are flipping the script. We are talking about your daily habits and behaviors that tell me you are quietly becoming wealthy, even if you do not feel like it yet. The first sign that tells me you are quietly getting rich is that you are a long-term player who refuses to compromise for short-term gains. One of my favorite thinkers is Naval Ravikant. In his discussions on wealth, he says that if you play long-term games, you will get rich. In fact, let us listen to a clip of him talking about this specific topic. I actually believe that everything you do in life, all the returns in life, come from compound interest. It comes from the length and strength of your relationships. Look at the PayPal mafia and how they kept compounding together to start new companies. The longer you stay with it, the better it gets. Warren Buffett is one of the richest people in history because he never stopped reinvesting. He let his wealth compound over decades of holding. If that resonates with you, it is a massive sign that you are heading toward huge financial success. If you want a real-world example of how to spot this sign, look at your shopping cart. Imagine you want something that costs $50 or even $500. How long do you wait before you actually pull the trigger and buy it? Wealthy people study their purchases for months. They might wait for a perfect discount or realize they do not even need the item at all. If you have the habit of delaying a purchase, it means you have mastered delayed gratification. It means you are a long-term person in your spending and in your investing. This core concept will make you incredibly rich in the future. You must learn to give up temporary, instant pleasures for a much better long-term financial future. I want you to understand that building wealth is usually a long, slow, and invisible process. Many of the signs we are discussing today show you are on the right track even if your balance hasn't caught up to your actions yet. The second sign is that you are earning more money, but you have zero desire to spend more money. Most people get a raise and immediately inflate their lifestyle because they finally have the capacity to spend. By the way, this is natural human behavior. The more resources you have, the more you naturally use it is, like being in school when you have 2 weeks to finish a paper. You usually take the full 2 weeks even if the paper only required 1 day of actual work. You expand to use all your available time and resources. The same behavior happens with your finances. If you earn $60,000 and spend $55,000, you save $5,000 a year, then you get a promotion to $80,000. Most people unconsciously increase their spending to $75,000. They think they are fine because they are still saving $5,000. But what if I gave you a challenge? If you get that promotion and keep your lifestyle exactly the same, you could save $20,000 a year instead. That shift in logic will completely change your financial trajectory forever. In the long run, your savings rate is a much bigger factor in your wealth than your investment return rate. The wealthy people I talk to do not equate a higher salary with a higher spending limit. They ask themselves how much more they can actually save. If you do not feel the urge to spend more when you earn more, you are going to be wealthy. The third sign today is that you do not have a car loan. Maybe you drive a reliable car that is 5 or 10 years old and it is fully paid off. Or maybe you drive a nice car but you paid for the whole thing in cash. If you truly understand that paying $700 a month for a depreciating asset is a mathematical disaster, you are getting rich. If you save that $700 a month, that is $8,400 a year for your brokerage account. Over 10 years with compound interest, that could be worth over $100,000 toward your retirement. Recent data shows that 40% of Americans have a car loan with an average payment of $767. If you do not have that payment, you have significantly more disposable income than the average person. And if you understand the depreciation curve, you know that cars lose most of their value in the first 5 years. Buying a 3 to 5-year-old car with 30,000 miles is one of the smartest moves you can make. If you see a car as just a tool to get from point A to point B, you are winning the game. The fourth sign that you are quietly getting rich is that you have mastered the art of living below your means. This means your expenses are always lower than your income. Creating a gap between what you bring in and what goes out is the core of building wealth. You can do this in 2 ways. First, you can cut your expenses to create a gap from your current income. Second, you can increase your income as much as possible to naturally widen that gap. Let us talk about the first way, cutting expenses. I recommend looking at your last 3 months of spending and categorizing every single dollar. Just doing this exercise will show you where you are bleeding money on things you do not even care about. Once you find those categories, you can cut them with precision. You need to track this gap every single month. If the gap is growing or staying steady, you are getting richer. The second way, increasing income usually has a bigger impact. Data shows that 66% of households earning over $100,000 live below their means, but less than 40% of households earning under $50,000 can do the same. It is much easier to save when you earn more. Increasing your income might mean switching jobs or building a rare high-value skill. The main point of sign number 4 is that you are actually tracking that gap. If you live below your means consistently, you are on the right path. The fifth sign today is that you value your time more than physical possessions. When you reach a point where your time is more important than your assets, you are in a position to buy back your freedom. Most people want to buy more stuff to show the world they are doing well. When we are young, we want the new car or the big house for our ego, but the true meaning of wealth is having control over your calendar. It gives you the power to say no to things you do not want to do. You do something because you want to, not because you are forced to by a paycheck. This might mean paying someone $150 to clean your house every 2 weeks. If that saves you 4 hours of your life, you can use those hours to earn more or to rest and be more creative. If you are measuring the value of your time in dollars, you are quietly getting rich. The sixth sign is that you have stopped comparing yourself to others. The financial world calls this keeping up with the Joneses. This is the most destructive thing you can do to your personal bank account. The moment you compare your life to your neighbor or your friends on social media, you lose focus. You are comparing your behind-the-scenes footage to their highlight reel. That new car they bought might be a lease that costs 50% of their income. You have no idea what is actually happening in their bank account. And more importantly, it does not matter. If you are quietly getting rich, you have probably stopped looking at everyone else. When you stop caring about other people's opinions, you stop paying bills for your ego. The seventh sign is that you have stopped showing off your money. The reality is that the loudest people in the room usually have the least amount of liquid cash. Many people get a raise and immediately post it on social media. They get a big part of their happiness from the envy of others. If you eat a $1,000 dinner and no one knows, did it even happen? For some people, the social validation is the only reason they bought the meal. True wealth is quiet because it is confident and does not need external approval. If you are quietly getting rich, you are probably tracking your net worth instead of your likes. Net worth reflects your habits and your discipline, not just your salary. If you find yourself talking less about money and more about your goals, that is a great sign. The eighth sign is that things that used to feel like a sacrifice no longer feel that way. When you start your journey, every dollar saved feels like you are giving something up. Maybe you bring your lunch to work, and it isn't as exciting as the deli down the street. You might feel a bit of fear of missing out at first, but over time, that discomfort completely disappears and turns into a habit. This is my favorite sign of progress. The things that felt like sacrifices in your early 20s become the things you actually enjoy later. Staying home on a Friday night to play games might have felt like missing out once, but later in life, that becomes exactly what you want to do. Choosing to max out your Roth IRA doesn't feel like locking money away. It feels like investing in your future. As you shift from being a consumer to a wealth builder, your values change. When your values align with good financial behavior, you don't need to force the discipline anymore. It just becomes who you are. The ninth sign is that you do not panic when the market goes down. If you spend enough time in the financial world, you know the market is volatile. When the news is negative and your group chats are blowing up with fear, your mindset matters. Most people panic and sell at the bottom, turning a temporary drop into a permanent loss. Unless you are retiring tomorrow, staying in the market is almost always better than trying to time it. If you can look at a market crash as a massive discount sale, your mindset is mature. Looking at the data shows that even with black swan events, the market trends upward over the long term. If you can stay calm during the storm, you are a professional wealth builder. Trusting the process and the historical data is exactly the mindset you need. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and let me know which signs you see in your life. Make sure to watch the next video about how to grow your net worth from 0 to 100,000. I think you will love that one. If not, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching and take care of your money. Stay boring, stay patient. Peace, wealth is built in the quiet moments of discipline, not the loud moments of spending. Every single day is an opportunity to plant a seed for your future freedom. Do not let the shiny objects of 2026 distract you from the simple math of compounding. You are doing better than you think if you are even thinking about these signs. The average person is focused on today, but a wealthy person is focused on 10 years from today. Keep your head down, keep your expenses low, and keep your goals high. You have the logic and the tools to win this game. It just takes time and a lot of patience. I am proud of you for investing your time in this video today. Now go out and turn that knowledge into actual assets. I will be right here next week with more logic and more truth. Remember that every dollar you save is a worker in your wealth factory. Stop firing your workers for a coffee or a status symbol. Hire as many as you can and let them work for you while you sleep. That is the only way to true freedom. I am signing off now to go work on my own portfolio. See you later. Stay boring, stay patient. Peace.